One can list down 100 reasons why people are drawn to Grand Sumo Wrestling, but for someone still trying to have a feel of what this sport is all about, there are 4 general common denominators among fans why they have come to love Japan's national sport. There's a technical side of Grand Sumo Wrestling, being a form of martial arts. How wrestlers outmaneuver their opponents in fights in the ring is a big source of entertainment. Then, there's witnessing the journey of these wrestlers to attain almost superhuman strength and power through ruthless training that never fails to amaze, as well as the lengths of how far the human spirit can go for the dedication that is needed to achieve success in sumo. Of course, there is the unique culture, the ancient history, traditions, and rituals in sumo that is just fascinating. When elements of a sport actually holds deeper significance, even as an audience, it gives you a sense that you're participating in something meaningful. And of course, like other sports fans, people are drawn to sumo because of the thrill of winning and the enjoyment that comes with competition.
And Tenno Fuji wins the championship.
I recently had a conversation with Ryan Smithman, who hosts the podcast Grand Sumo Breakdown and has been following sumo for 5 years. And it's the sense of competition and the thrill of seeing his favorite wrestlers do well in tournaments that are his main reasons why he loves the sport so much. And he pours this fervor for competition by closely watching the Banzuke, which is professional sumo's ranking system. To new fans of the sport, the Banzuke often comes second in mind. When I watched my first sumo tournament, keeping up with the quick bouts, the different winning moves, and the wrestlers' Japanese names already felt quite overwhelming. Throw in the ranks, it's a lot to handle. But if there was one thing I wish I knew before watching my first few tournaments, is that I wish I had a better understanding of these rankings. It's actually not just a document that shows the general picture of how wrestlers are doing in the tournaments, but also a system that elevates one's experience in following this sport. So today, I am going to explain Grand Sumo Wrestling's ranking system. The Banzuke or Banzuke Hyo looks like this, a well-packed larger piece of paper containing Japanese calligraphy. So the Banzuke is simply a document that gets published 2 weeks before every official grand tournament that contains the ranking of professional sumo wrestlers. It also contains the name of gyoji, or sumo referees, yobidashi, ushers or handymen, Shimpan, the judges, Oyakata, elders of the Japan Sumo Association, and occasionally the Tokoyama, or the hairdressers. But the Banzuke, by extension, also refers to the ranking itself and not just the document. The Banzuke is set by an assembly called the Banzuke Hensei Inkai and is composed of 23 members, 20 Shimpan or judges, and 3 Kanji or supervisors. They gather just a few days after the tournament to discuss the placement of the 600 or more wrestlers in terms of ranking. This meeting is led by a gyoji, who will also act as a secretary and takes down the decisions made during this meeting. There are no rules that say specifically where to place up or place down the wrestlers in rankings, but there is a general commandment they follow. Wrestlers with a losing record cannot get a promotion, and wrestlers with a winning record typically means a promotion, and the gap of their win-loss record can indicate how high or how low a wrestler rises or falls in the rankings. So for example, a 9-6 record in the last tournament leaves the wrestler with 2 gaps and could mean the wrestler can climb up 2 spots, while a wrestler with a 5-8 record might fall down 3 spots. This is the general rule of thumb, but this isn't always the case, and even a winning record could sometimes not mean a promotion, and the wrestler can stay put in his current rank. So even though there are general guidelines, the Banzuke assembly relies mostly on subjectivity to evaluate wrestlers' performances and if they are deserving rewards or demotions. Ryan, who tries relentlessly to accurately predict the Banzuke, told me that one of the frustrating beauties of the Banzuke is its human element. This unpredictability creates a special mixture of excitement and dread that fans feel whenever the Banzuke is released. Did my favorite wrestler get a good hand this time? Did your guy who had a bad performance last tournament get a bit lucky with his inevitable demotion? This lack of mathematical formula gives an added joy to fans who love puzzles, as they constantly make sense of the patterns and chase the ever-changing minds of some old Japanese men in a room, probably getting some drinks on while they discuss these rankings. You don't need to know how to read Japanese to be able to at least know what's going on in the Banzuke. You can still learn the general areas of the document. Let's start from top to bottom, and since this is a Japanese document, you'll need to read right to left. The Banzuke is divided into east and west, indicated here and here. Even though wrestlers are in the same ranks, the east side is generally considered to be higher than the west side. According to longtime sumo insider John Gunning, there are possible explanations to why the east is considered higher than the west. From East Asian ancient history to the seating position of the emperor in relation to the rising sun. But the closest possible explanation is when in 1890, Nishinoumi, who had received the title Yokozuna, which was only an honorific title then and not an actual rank, had to be ranked behind his rival who had an unbeaten score, who also shared the highest rank at the time, which was Ozeki. Because his rival didn't have the honorific title of Yokozuna, he didn't like that he would rank behind him and complained to the authorities about it. So to compromise, his name was written under the title of Yokozuna, appearing for the first time in Banzuke. And therefore, being written there, the rank of Yokozuna became an official rank after this dispute. Since Nishinoumi was the only Yokozuna at the time for 6 years, the rank was always written on the east side of the Banzuke. That side of the Banzuke from then on was seen as the exceptional side. So on the first row of the Banzuke are the title of the ranks. From the right, starting with the east side, you have Yokozuna, Ozeki, Sekiwake, Komusubi, then the Megashira wrestlers. So as of July 2021, there are 42 wrestlers total in the Makuuchi division or top division, and that's the area here. In the July 2021 Banzuke, only Hakuhosho remains as Yokozuna and is listed in the east, and there is no rank of Yokozuna in the west side. The second row contains the prefecture of birth, and for foreigners, their country will be the one listed down. Then on the third row is the shikona or ring name of the wrestlers, with Yokozuna Hakuhosho's name having the biggest space among all the other names on the document. Being a big name in the sport is taken quite literally in sumo, as the bigger your name is, the higher your rank, and the top division Makuuchi wrestlers have bigger names than wrestlers in divisions below them. Below the Makuuchi, again, Japanese style of reading means reading starting from the right, refers to the 28 Juryo division wrestlers. This is the second highest division in professional sumo. The rows are the same as in Makuuchi: rank, origin, then the wrestler's shikona or ring name. These Japanese characters actually say Megashira, but they are actually the Juryo. Then we get the 120 Makushita wrestlers. Again, you have rank, origin, and shikona. Even though looking at it as a whole, it seems that the Makushita division, which is a step lower than the Juryo division, has a bigger space on the Banzuke, the individual names of the wrestlers are actually smaller, as this small space is squeezing in 60 names on each side. Below the top 3 divisions are the Sandame and the Jonidan. Then on the most bottom part of the Banzuke is the lowest division, Jonokuchi. Next to this space is where the names of the Japan Sumo Association are listed. Then you have the Wakai Monogashira, or youth supervisor, and then the names of the Sewanin, which are caretakers or managers, then the Yobidashi, ushers, and the Tokoyama hairdressers. In the middle, dividing the east and west side, starting from the top are some inscriptions. The biggest characters actually mean, "Please excuse us very humbly," which is a saying that comes from the Edo period, when sumo took place in Shinto shrines. The organizers of the tournament will display the Banzuke and use it as a public apology for taking up space in the shrines. Even though it's no longer relevant, as the grand tournaments now happen in purposely built arenas, they still kept the saying in the Banzuke for the sake of tradition. Below this inscription is the year, but is written as Reiwa's third year. Reiwa, the current Japanese emperor's third year since ascending the throne. Then you have the dates of the tournament, and then where it is going to be held. Below this are the names of the gyoji, or referees, the shimpan, or judges, and then these refer to the Japan Sumo Association, or Nihon Sumo Kyokai. Now that you are able to decipher the wall of kanji, cheered for the promotion of your favorite wrestlers, and raised your eyebrows over some decisions made by the Banzuke Assembly, it's now time to know how to use this information. The ranks will mostly mean one thing: a general list of who the wrestler is going to face in the next tournament. If we arrange the Makuuchi division in an easily digestible chart for Western audiences, the immediate surrounding wrestlers will be who the wrestler is going to face. So if Hakuho the Yokozuna is going to complete the July 2021 tournament, he will likely face all the wrestlers from Ozeki to Megashira 4. Let's take fan favorite Ura, who at the last May 2021 tournament was in Juryo, and in this Banzuke was promoted to the Makuuchi division as Megashira 13. He will likely be facing the wrestlers in these ranks, with the exception of wrestlers that come from his own sumo stable. That means he will not face Hide no Umi, Tokushoryu, and Shima no Umi in this tournament at any given time. Their rankings also affects the difficulty of the matches, as having a higher rank means better and stronger opponents. For an example, let's take the case of Tobizaru in the May 2021 Basho, where he was ranked Megashira number 2. From day 1 to day 6, he faced exclusively the highest ranking title holders, including all 4 Ozekis for 4 days straight. By day 7, he had a 1-win, 5-loss record from facing powerful opponents. At the end of the tournament, he had a record of 5 wins, 10 losses. This goes to show how difficult it would be to climb or even simply stay in the higher ranks. So if you follow the general gap rule, Tobizaru could fall down to Megashira 5 East in the July 2021 Banzuke. However, the Banzuke Assembly has a bit of a soft spot for those in the higher ranks when it comes to punishing them for losing records. Ryan Smithman from Grand Sumo Breakdown calls this the joy bus, where the top guys on the Banzuke get better treatment because of their harder tournament schedule and generally tougher fights. And this was somehow true to Tobizaru's case. In the May 2021 Banzuke, he only fell just 2 spots lower from Megashira 2 West to Megashira 3 West. However, those on the lower part of the Makuuchi division get the harsher side of the assembly, where wrestlers with awful records can get kicked out of the Makuuchi division without any second thoughts. The general gap rule seems to be applied more consistently in the lower divisions, but a wrestler in the Juryo division with an amazing record in the last tournament doesn't automatically mean he enters the top division in the next Banzuke. These small intricacies of the Banzuke is what makes the sumo experience more engrossing. Sumo, unlike other sports, isn't a one-time elimination round to the championships that reset per tournament, but a continuous campaign to reach success that gets harder and harder as you reach the top. Getting to know the ranking system of Grand Professional Sumo Wrestling truly makes the sumo experience more special. It gives you more appreciation for the sumo wrestlers that give it their all in every bout. The sport itself is built to test the best of the best constantly. Push the limits of the human body with grueling 15-day tournaments 6 times a year, and endlessly probes the stretch of one's ambition for the relentless pursuit of a higher rank. But when the toil of that labor finally bears fruit, when a fan truly understands the significance of sumo's Banzuke, that fruit tastes all the more sweeter. Thanks so much for watching this video. I hope that it cleared out the Banzuke, especially for new fans out there like myself who really didn't know the significance of this document or the rankings. So I hope this was really helpful to you. Please subscribe to my channel or share this video to your friends who also love sumo or just discovering sumo. Thank you so much and see you again soon. Bye!